Good afternoon and welcome to the Kerry Garden Show. Alan Finn here at the potting shed in Boyles of Killorglin, where I'd normally be chatting to Trish. But this week she doesn't seem to be here, so I think I better go find her and find out what's coming up on this week's show. So, flying solo with us today here in Boyles of Killorglin, we are happily joined by Trish, our gardening expert. How are you, Trish?
I'm very good, Alan, again. Thank you very much.
Brilliant, brilliant. Did you enjoy your Maybank holiday weekend?
I did. It was a busy weekend, but look, we get on with it.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to be out gardening, Alan.
That's it.
Great.
No, it is. It's great.
Yeah.
While everybody's been going to the beach, when the sun is nice and coming back to the garden as well too, it's good. So, round about this time now, so we're in the first week in May, and it is a good time for bedding because we're hoping that we won't see much frost.
Yes.
And we're looking for a bit of colour. So there's a lot of people, as you said, looking at the garden. So this week we're going to focus on bedding. You're going to do a demonstration later on our bedding plants and potting. Sorry, about potting and hanging baskets. But right now we're going to talk bedding outside in the garden.
That's right. People now, they just want the colour. They're out in the garden, they're sitting in the patios, they're out and about, the kids are playing, and it's just nice to have a bit of colour. And also as well, we're going to cover, if you've got pots outside the door, what to put into them and what colour to put in as well.
Great.
So first of all, I'm just going to start off, if you have when you're doing the bedding plants, it's very important to let us know if it's in sun or if it's in shade.
Okay.
Because again, like everything, there's particular plants that will suit particular.
And I'm sure everyone has done it. They've gone and bought a plant, just thought it looked nice, and if you put it in the wrong spot,
yes,
it just doesn't.
It just won't perform.
Yeah, you
because
get to
say for example then that you have a sunny place or a shady place and you're putting in your petunias.
Okay.
They need sunshine, so they're not going to flower, the leaves are going to go yellow, so very, very important to make sure that you know what situation that your bed is in or your pot is in.
So from that point of view, Trish, it is very important to plan.
It is.
To plan,
yeah.
and also, as we always say, come in and talk to you.
Exactly. Now, a thing is as well, if people have got big beds and they're wondering what will we plant in the beds or how many colours should we put in, sometimes less is more, Alan.
I was going to say, what are the big mistakes people make?
They're just putting in too much of a mixture of colour. They put in pinks, they put in reds, they put in whites, they put in yellows. Sometimes, if you had a bed just full of maybe red begonias and bordered it around then with a blue lobelia,
well, that's
or
beautiful.
a white alyssum.
Yeah.
You could mix kind of one blue, one white, or maybe sometimes as well do 3 blue, 3 white. So you get a better effect from a distance then as well. So what we have then for a shady area, if you've got a shady area, the geraniums are excellent. Now these are the upright geraniums, again come in numerous different colours between reds, pinks, salmons, whites, very, very hardy. They can be grown in pots, or you could plant a big bed just full of geraniums. Stick to 1 or 2 colours again, don't overmix it.
So when we say shady, it does obviously need a little bit of sun, but you're talking about how many hours?
Yeah,
Would
say
you know?
say from 3-4 o'clock in the evening if it got the sunshine.
Okay,
that's fine.
right.
That's fine. That's
So it's a late, yeah.
Another good one then for shade then would be your pansies. Now the pansies are great. I know some people might be sick of them after the winter because in the winter bedding you're limited to what you can get, but you can't beat a pansy. If you're exposed, that's another thing, if you're sheltered or exposed. If you're exposed, the pansies, which are the bigger flower, or the violas, which are the smaller flower, they're excellent and they'll just keep on flowering up until about November.
Yeah.
Very, very hardy.
Right.
Sweet Williams are a firm favourite as well of a lot of people, and they've got actually a lovely scent in it as well.
Now, what are the flowers on that? That's a beautiful
They're
colours.
beautiful colours. You've got the pinks in it. They'd be like what we were looking at there a couple of weeks ago, the little carnations, the dianthus.
Oh, yes.
They'd be similar in flower to that, but these are only the annuals.
Okay.
Now, with all the bedding plants, you have to remember they're only for the summer, Alan.
Okay, now that's another big thing. You know, obviously we've spoken to the osteospermum and the ones that keep kind of reproducing, but these will literally be just kind of
just
1
for
year,
the summer.
just for the summer.
That's why they flower so well. They can put
all
their
their
energy in for a couple of months. They'll flower and they'll flower and they'll flower because you have the greenery of the shrubs. Some of them might be finished flowering, some of them mightn't be flowering until later. So you want to add in your pockets of colour or your splashes of colour in your beds. That's where you plant your bedding plants.
So again, like we were talking last week about kind of tiering and having the rhodos at the back and the green leaf that will stay green all the time. It's lovely to kind of have that as a focal point.
Exactly.
And then add the colour around it.
Add the colour around it, and it's fantastic. As I say, like just even pockets of colour here and there will just bring things up. Now, a lovely one as well is the Busy Lizzie or Impatiens.
Busy Lizzie, yes, you always hear
again, an old-fashioned flower, but invaluable. I love them now. They're great. Like when we do the hanging basket demonstration now later on, we'll be using them as well in it. But again, what they will grow to about 8-9 inches high, bush out about the same as well.
Yeah.
We'll do in a shady area as well.
Okay.
They don't like the full sun, because if you see by that leaf, it's actually quite soft.
Right.
So if you had the sun blaring on that all
It would
day,
scorch
yeah,
it.
it would scorch it. So that's actually, they're quite good as well.
Mm-hmm.
And then to border off, some people have got, say, the edges around their shrub beds or edges around the flower beds that they're actually doing. You edge them off then with your alyssum and your lobelia.
The lobelias, yeah, you mentioned these. They're
So
lovely.
the alyssum, again now, they only grow to about 4 or 5 inches high, spread out nearly a foot.
Okay.
And they will flower right up until November. So again, as I was saying earlier, plant them in clumps, maybe 3 or 4 lobelia and then 3 or 4 alyssum.
And the lobelias here, they're coming in the white. There's the kind
There's
of purpley blue.
There's
and
light
then,
blues, there's mixed colours.
and does this actually contain a number of different ones?
That's
then?
all. Like there could be this plant
The
could be
bush
red
mix.
and that one could be white. So they're all different mixtures.
Like
so
a lottery, wondering which one is
Exactly.
which. Yeah, yeah.
Now, most important as well when you're putting down your bedding plants, you have to put the slug pellets because the leaves are just lovely and luscious and munch.
We were
Here
talking
we come.
about barbecues last week. That would be an absolute 5-course meal for the slugs. So get your slug pellets down.
Get your slug pellets down. So once you plant all your bedding plants, scatter your slug pellets down. Now there is slug pellets you can get that are won't harm pets or anything, or birds or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now preparing your beds for bedding plants, you need to dig in some compost. So a John Innes compost or a Jack's Magic compost, just fork it into the top couple of inches.
Yeah.
And also as well then you can actually add a slow release fertilizer. So what you do is you scatter that out and that'll release food for the next 6 months. But on top of that then, every couple of weeks,
top it up with a bit
give
of
it a tomato food. And Alan, as we always say, what do we do with plants when they're
we
dying off?
We make sure we deadhead, Trish. Yeah, we
very,
do.
very important.
And that's one very good, because this is one thing I've been meaning to ask you as well, is the preparation stage. So let's just say I had a little corner and it's kind of got a lot of grass and stuff in it, right? Do I pull it out, or would I actually spray a weed killer?
You can spray a weed killer on it, but if you're spraying a weed killer on it, say something like Roundup or Weed Out, you have to wait a couple of weeks before you can plant it. But I remember a couple of weeks ago I was talking about a non-chemical.
Yes.
You can put that on and you can replant within 3 days.
Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah,
and that'll get rid of your grass. And then, as you say, get a fork, loosen up the soil, put in your compost, put in your slow release fertilizer, and you can work away.
Great. No, because that's the one thing I always kind of find is
I
you
know,
have a nice
what do
little
we
area.
do? Yeah.
What do I do?
What do you do? No, you need to get rid of the weeds
get rid
and
of
get rid of the grass and anything
so
like
we
that.
can get down on our hands and knees, really. Is that what you're trying to get me to
That's
do?
it,
Is that the best way, Trish?
I had the kneeling pads there a couple of weeks
That's right.
ago,
Yeah,
so you're fine.
yeah.
Now, pots around the door. Everybody loves the focal point either side of the door then as well. So for the centre of a pot, you could put your buxus, or you could put a nice little conifer, a cone-shaped conifer, or if you wanted something with flowy and spiky, you can put. Again, now pots can be put in the patio as well.
Yeah.
And if you're putting pots in the patio, go with something scented, like the lavender. You can go with the lemon verbena or the lemon thyme that we had last week, and put them into pots, but also add your bit of summer colour then as well.
Beautiful. Great. So tell us about the fuchsias here, the beautiful colour.
They're
just here at the
absolutely
moment
fabulous.
as well.
This one now is a standard fuchsia and can also be put in pots or planted directly into the ground. So sometimes when you've got a big bed and you need a little bit of height, you could put a few of them, kind of put it in a triangle and underplant it then with your bedding plants. And also as well, we've got the small little
red ones.
the little bush ones that are ideal for pots or into the ground. Like you could have that as that and put that on the ground.
Beautiful.
And bordered around then with your lobelia.
Excellent. Great. Well, right now we're going to clear the decks here because Trish is going to give us a little demonstration and some tips for planting those hanging baskets and for your flower beds. So, Trish, what do we start with?
With hanging baskets now, there's a lot of different varieties of hanging baskets you can get. This one is a wire basket. It's coated as well, so it won't rust. Comes with chains and the whole lot. And we also have other baskets down here as well.
I think he's up here now. We have two other ones. This is the one you'd see in a lot of places, the wooden wicker one, is it?
Wicker one, yes. And they're actually quite easy to do because you just put the plants on the top of it.
Yeah.
With the wire one, you'll actually have to put plants, which I'm going to show you.
Okay.
Put it into the middle of it. And then this one, again, the
Very
holes are in
unusual
it.
one. Yeah.
And you can stick your plants into it.
Like they're
lovely
popping
done
out.
up. They're popping out.
Lovely,
so there's a lot of different hanging baskets you can get. So you can select your hanging basket first.
Okay.
Once you have that, then you need a liner.
Right.
Stop the compost from coming out.
Okay.
So this is your liner. And you can see there's little holes in the side of it. So that's where I'll be putting in the plants. So you put in your liner like that. Again, whatever size basket you have, you have a liner to match it. So whether it's a 12-inch basket, 14, 16, you have the liners. So make sure you get the right liner to fit it. Because if I got a 10-inch liner for this, it'll be only coming up to here and the compost will be spilling out.
Okay.
Now, with that, I actually don't have plastic at the moment, but you can cut a little round section of plastic, whether it's from your compost bag, put it in the base of it.
So that'll be to stop the water from dripping out.
Dripping out, and it'll hold the water,
Hold it
because
a little
hanging
bit longer.
baskets are notorious for drying out
Yeah.
so quickly. So with that then, you get your compost. Now what I'm using is a John Innes compost.
Multi-purpose?
Multi-purpose
Okay.
compost. So you put it in. Now you don't fill it right up to the top straight away.
Okay.
So what you're actually doing is you're only filling it about a third of the way.
Right.
So you need to get to your first hole. So like that then, you'll see where it is there.
Okay.
So what I'm going to do is get a little bit of allicin. Now make sure your plants are well watered beforehand.
Yes, that's
Now,
a big thing as well.
People are wondering, how do I get it in, or what
Yeah,
happens?
yeah.
So with the slit in it, you just put it in like that, put your slit around it, and that's it.
Okay.
Right?
You just let it sit.
So with that, I put a mixture of bedding plants in the base of it. So this is your pansy.
Okay.
Now the idea is that you do the bottom section at the moment, and you go all around, right? And then I'll just do one more, so maybe if you had a busy lizzie. Now the holes are in it, so you'll know how far apart then to be putting your plants.
Okay.
So you can go by that. So that is that.
They're
so
literally just peeking out.
they're just
literally
peeking out.
Yeah, I
and
think
just to put in your.
all our listeners on radio will definitely want to check out the
They
video
will.
for this.
They will, is right.
Yeah.
Now, like that, then once you've the bottom layer done, you keep filling up with the compost.
Okay.
Until you get to the top layer, and then put in your plants up here. So what you have, the bottom layer has a plant here and a plant here, so they will cover all here and all here.
Yeah.
And if you put a plant up here, so I'm going to get a nice little Sweet William.
Okay.
As I say, you can just use a mixture between nemesia, antirrhinums, petunias, anything at all.
Yeah.
And even though these go upright when they're in the ground, they will grow out
They'll
they'll bush out.
Okay.
So it's perfect. Now, these holes are a little bit smaller.
So you might need to make the holes a little bit bigger.
Just grab your plant,
Okay.
scrunch it up. I know you think, oh, I'm hurting the leaves, but I'm
Yeah.
not.
Okay.
And push them out.
Brilliant.
And that's it. And you work your way all around. Now, I'm only doing this side just for demonstration
Of course.
purposes at
Are
the
we going to
moment.
have a little Mary Fitzgerald moment?
We are. We're going to have one that I prepared
Here's
earlier.
one I made earlier.
Now, when you get to the top of it, you fill it up to the top,
Okay.
right? We also have a wetting agent. It helps in the watering of it.
Wetting agent.
A wetting
okay.
agent. So
Again,
I've spilled
so
it all down.
But that's just again something else to hold the water that
Hold
little
the
bit
water.
longer.
So what you do is you just sprinkle a little bit on top of it.
Okay.
Not too much. So one little crystal, once the water hits that,
It'll
will
expand.
and it'll use it then as it's going along.
Oh, brilliant.
And also as well, a
Your
slow
slow
release
release.
fertilizer
So you're putting this on the top.
on the top
On the
couple of
top
inches.
level, okay.
So you could mix that and just scatter that in. Now, I'll just mix it in a little bit. Usually, I suppose, if you had it half filled, you could start putting in the slow release and the wetting agent. So you fill up your compost then to the top and just firm it down. So you have your plants all there in the
They're all
side.
coming out, yeah.
So what you need now is a centerpiece. You need a little
Okay.
bit of height in the middle. So we're going to put in a petunia.
Lovely.
Now, that petunia, or not a petunia, sorry, a fuchsia.
Fuchsia.
So that fuchsia is well rooted, so you can just get your fingernails and loosen it out gently.
Okay,
And
so you're just giving little pinches.
just little
to
pinches.
people who are listening.
And what
yeah.
that'll do then is that it'll tell the roots to go out that little bit faster for you.
Okay, right. Give them
So
a little
dig
nudge.
your hole down in the middle and put your compost around it.
Okay.
Now, you can use a selection of ones. You have a lovely trailing petunias. Everybody loves the
They
petunias.
just fall over the
They
side.
just fall over the side.
Yeah.
So you could put that in around the side of it. And they will trail right down. Again, just push down and put in your compost.
Okay, and how many do you think of those?
So
that you
what
wouldn't
we will
want
do
to
then?
put too many
no,
at the top, would you?
You have your one in the centre, and usually then you'd put 3 bigger plants.
okay.
So we were going to put like a nice little million bells there.
Okay.
And you also have a bacopa. You can get these in the white, and you
Again,
can get
they're-
them in the lilac.
And again, they're ones that'll hang down lovely.
They'll all trail down.
Beautiful.
And then in between, you can put a few more bedding plants, maybe something like the trailing lobelia, and they will fall right down.
My goodness.
So,
right.
like, I mean, that's simple to do. I know
Okay.
it's simple for me, I suppose.
Yeah. Well, no, it's great. At least if
It's
people
just a
can go
matter
on.
of getting used to it or whatever, but
Yeah.
don't be afraid of putting in
Try
plants.
and try and try, and
Now,
that is the
as
only
I
way
said,
to learn. And
I have
here's one
one
James made
I
earlier.
was
Now let's
just
give
about
him the
to
credit.
say, I didn't make it. James now does all our hanging baskets and window boxes, and he
Excellent.
does a fantastic job on them. So you
Brilliant.
can see there with these pansies, busy lizzies.
Yeah, they're all going to
Do you know,
peek
they're
out
all
there.
going around. He has his
Brilliant.
fuchsia in the middle. Now, he also has in the pata, which is lovely. He's snuck it in there in the middle.
Snuck it in, yeah.
And what that
it's
is,
a lighter
it's
white
a lighter,
green, yeah.
and that has no flower on it. Well, it has a very, very pale lilac flower, but it's mostly for foliage.
Okay.
And that'll come way down on either side, and it will fall right down.
Wow.
And you'll have the colour of the flowers then around it.
Yeah.
And again, he has the petunias, and he has the bacopa then around it.
Fantastic.
So
Excellent.
when you have that done, you need to water it.
Okay.
So water it in with just ordinary water. Come back about 2 hours later and just give it your tomato food.
Okay, so you wet the soil first.
Wet
and
the
then,
soil first and let it drain. Yeah, let it drain out in the bottom.
Yeah.
And then put on your tomato food.
Excellent.
Now with the feed, you need to feed it every 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Every
okay.
2 weeks. Don't feed in direct sunlight and try not to water in direct sunlight.
Okay.
So when you're watering your hanging baskets, water them in the evening or early morning.
Okay.
So that they're dry, because if you put water on that during the day, the soft leaf, it'll scorch it.
Yeah.
It'll scorch it. So just to be safer. Now everybody always asks, when do I water the baskets? How often do I water the hanging basket? It really depends on the weather.
Okay.
If you get sunshine every day, you need to water every day.
Okay.
Because you kind of gradually know by the basket it's kind of
light.
Yeah,
it needs to have a little bit of weight.
So if you just water it with your watering can, let it soak in a little bit, and then water it again and gradually leave it soak in.
Okay.
So
Excellent.
that should be that. Now also as well,
now we also have some window boxes.
Window boxes. Again,
Okay.
now that's a nice thing of doing it. You have your height at the back
At the
of
back,
it.
yeah.
So he has the geraniums at the back of it, James, and then this is actually the begonias then, white begonias, what I was saying last week. Isn't the white lovely in that?
Lovely,
It
yeah.
just shines it out.
Absolutely.
And in the front then, he's got his million bells, which are trailed down, his San Vitalia, and his two busy lizzies, which are grow bushy on the side.
So how big is this?
That one is about 2 foot of a box.
2 foot of a box,
Yeah.
and he's got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. You've nearly got 9, 11.
Yeah,
11 little
with
ones
the
in it.
bedding plants, it's nice because they're only there for the couple of months.
Of course.
Pack them in so that you
Brilliant.
get a great bit of colour. Again, the same thing. You use your slow release fertiliser, you use your tomato food for feeding. We've a load of different types of boxes, containers. They're
Okay.
in stock that you can actually
So come in and have a
use.
look.
Come
Find
in,
the
have a
ones
look.
that will actually fit, because you got to fit on your window.
Yes,
and
exactly.
You've got to fit in the right
Well,
places.
that's it. Measure your window. And also as well, a lot of people do up pots for graves.
Yeah.
So when you go into the graveyard, it's usually quite exposed. So you want plants that are actually going to be hardy.
Okay.
So again, as we always say, come in, tell us sunshine, whether it's windy or
Talk to your
shelter,
gardening
talk to
experts.
it.
They know best.
So
Absolutely.
like that now, a lovely geranium, a lovely selection of geraniums in at the moment. There are pink ones and whites and salmons. He's two little carnations, violas and the busy lizzies.
Excellent.
So again,
Brilliant.
now, even if you have your own containers, you can bring them in here. We'll do them up for you. It'll take a while to do them, or else if you want to do them yourself, sometimes it's fun doing them yourself, or get the kids involved.
Get the kids involved. Absolutely.
We pick out
yeah.
the plants for you.
Or the grandkids.
Yes,
absolutely.
exactly.
You know any of those
and
for
we'll
nanas
pick
and
out the
granddads
plants
who are
for
doing
you
it?
and show you how to do it, and you can
Beautiful.
work away with that.
Fantastic. Well, that's great demonstrations, Trish, for lots of stuff there for the hanging baskets, which will keep lots of people busy. You love keeping busy.
yes.
Keep them busy. Keep them busy. Listen, that's pretty much it for the show this week. Thanks to Trish for the great demonstration and all the great help. And listen, whatever your garden is looking like at the moment, we'd love to see it. Send in your pictures through our Facebook Messenger, or you can also send them to alan@radiokerry.ie. Trish, thanks very much. We'll talk to you next week.
Great, thanks Alan.
And thank you for listening. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.